What's going on, guys? Your boy Rigo today, checking in for another good video. We're doing the 30 for 30. 30 videos, 30 consistent weeks of new information regarding real estate, buyers, sellers, listing, market updates, you name it. The process we're going to talk about, and we're going to give you 30 weeks of consistent videos for that. So if you haven't checked out our previous videos, go ahead and check them out. We're going to dive in today on a buyer consultation. Some of you guys may or may not know what a buyer consultation is. Quite simple. A buyer's coming in to figure out if they qualify for a house or not. And right now we're going to go a little deeper into that topic of what it takes, documentation, questions, work history, time frames, timelines, people involved, a little bit of everything in regards to the buyer consultation, what you could expect out of that, and kind of transitioning into the next video that's going to be a little bit more in depth of the escrow process and such and such and such. All right. If you have questions, comment below. Like this video, share this video. Let me know anyone that's interested in buying a house. Tag them, have them follow me, share me, whatever it is you may be interested in doing below. Let's go. So we're going to start it off real quick, guys. Try and make this short for you. The most important thing about a buyer consultation is always going to be who you're working with, being a realtor, lender, and the documentation, proper documentation. So that's the first thing I'm going to start off before I go over here with the people that you're working with. I'm going to start with the docs. So it's very important that you guys write this down, note this down. I'll give a quick breakdown on a broad spectrum, but it's different for self-employed, and it's different for businesses, and it's different for single individual people. So based on that, DM me and we'll get you the separate spreadsheets or the separate documentation that you'll need. For businesses, it's a lot more tricky, but this is just for a single person or people, individuals that would need this documentation. You're gonna start off with 2 years of your tax returns, guys. And as I told you guys before, businesses, you got a 1099, a W-2 employee, you got your W-2 and your pay stubs. W-2 employee, quite simple for those of you who don't know, W-2 employee is someone who's just a pay stub earner. Someone who just gets the paychecks, they get them in, they get them out, their taxes are deducted, 401k, all that stuff is deducted during every paycheck, not at the end of the year like someone who does self-employed. 1099, for someone who's self-employed, major difference. Again, if I'm talking too fast, ask the questions below. But W-2 people, very straightforward. Whatever your W-2 says at the end of the year that's either mailed into you or given to your tax person, we use that income. For a 1099 employee, we use the average of your profit and loss. So let's just say you made 100 grand. You make $100,000 this year, but you write off 70,000 of it. Your only net income is 30,000. That's what we're going to use for your income. So be very aware of that. Talk to your CPA. I'm not a CPA, so I can't give you information on that. But just so you have knowledge based on your qualification factors, you need to really figure out what you're writing off, how much of your business is using for expenses and losses and all that good jazz. Okay, cool. Hopping on to the next one. We got very, very, very important. This ties in a lot. A lot of people always question and they think it's something that's not normal. But when you have your bank statement, it's not to get your bank information. It's to see the proof of your down payment, because a lot of times you cannot purchase a house if you do not have your money seasoned. There's different ways around it. There's different gifts, equities, and all this other good jazz that goes into getting around this, but I'm going to keep it really simple for you guys right now. 2 months bank statements is to prove your down payment, your proof of funds, where it is, where it's coming from, and if it's seasoned for 60 days. All right. Anything else in there? Let me see if I can remember real quick or recall. That should be it for the 2 months bank statements for now. And if I guess I can tie this one a little bit because I get this a lot. A lot of clients are piecing it together, right? Let's say you have four buyers, and each buyer is going to put in 5 grand. So we need to source 2 months for every single buyer. 2 months for this buyer, 2 months for this buyer, 2 months for this buyer, 2 months for this buyer. And the reason why we source is not to only have the down payment sourced, but making sure that everyone's in line with their spending. Because when you start to purchase, guys, you can't just put cash down. And I'm glad I kind of extended this conversation, because this money, when it's seasoned, if you're 2 months in, let's say next month you decide to put $10,000 cash, that's going to raise a lot of red flags for the lender. So it's very important once you enter this process, don't make any money moves. Talk to your lender. Make sure that you get the information you need so that you know what money is coming in, what money is coming out, where's your funds going, why you're doing deposits, why deposits are coming in, because everything is being watched at that point. Your bank account is being watched for any large deposits to see if it's cash or not or anything like that for lending purposes. All right, so again, proof of funds here, boom. Make sure you talk to your lender so you're not putting in $10,000, $5,000 cash, because that'll raise some red flags. Day 30. I'm gonna give you guys a quick story too. This is hilarious. A client of mine, I won't say the name, had 2 months bank statements, and he shared with me a joke. It's a meme, and it said there's an instant deposit, something that comes out every month from their bank statements. It showed for like 4 or 5 months, right? And the lender asked him, "Hey, bro, why do you have $100 coming out every month or every week or something like that?" And it goes into everything. This is why the point of this that I'm getting to is, when you have something coming out like that, they're gonna ask. The lenders will ask you, where's this money coming from? Where's it going to? For this particular person, it was going out to his weed. He would buy weed every week. Automatically, he got $100 deducted because it's consistent. It's a reoccurring debt, so to speak. Lenders will ask. So anything and everything that you guys are purchasing on your bank account, make sure you know what you're gonna get yourself into before you talk to your lender on that. 30-day pay stubs. Real quick, 30-day pay stubs is simple, guys. The most recent 30 days, last 30 days pay stubs, whether you get paid weekly, 4 checks, bi-weekly, 2 checks, monthly, 1 check. Doesn't matter. As long as you have this noted consistently for 30 days. A lot of you guys will have your pay stubs and your bank statements, and during the process of purchasing a home and looking for homes and getting into escrow, you have to consistently update that documentation to your lender. So something for you guys to keep in mind is, don't get too out of line or too crazy or think that it's too much work. It's just something that's normal when lenders request for documents more than one time, being bank statements and pay stubs more than anything. All right. So lastly, we're gonna go with these. This last other income I'm gonna get to in a minute. It's a lot of questions that people ask, other incomes besides pay stubs, W-2 taxes, but you also need your ID and your social. And it can also be a DACA, and you can also have I-10. These are a little different programs, which we'll dive into a little more, but this DACA program is very similar to that FHA program that we talked about. If you haven't checked that video, it's one of our first videos for the 30 for 30. Talks about some of the requirements that you need and stuff like that, which is kind of the same here in this instance. But I-10, totally different. I need your ID, I need your social, and to wrap it up, your other income. This is super important, guys. Other income, because a lot of you guys ask this question a lot. Social Security can be used. Your SSI income can be used. Your pensions, your retirements can be used. Just had a client yesterday who gets foster care. 3 kids, gets about $1,000 a child. You can use that as well. Foster care can be used. Disability can be used, depending on how long you're going to receive it. Same thing with the SSI. How long you're receiving it for. Some people receive SSI for their children, and they receive it until they're 18, and then they don't. Some people receive it for lifetime. So it just really depends on SSI and with disability. And then again, workers' comp and unemployment, that's a little bit more unusual. It can be used, but you have to connect time frames. So that's a much deeper, more complex question that you would dive in with the lender, but you can use it to average out your years if you're gonna average your income for the 2 years or a year, whatever it may be. But you just have to be able to connect time frames, which is the next thing that I'm rolling into. Is in order for you guys to be approved, you do need all this documentation. And this is important. Again, the time frame, you need 2 years of consistent work. Consistent. You can miss a month or 2 or 3, but you have to have a reasoning, a letter of explanation as to why you missed, and it has to be a pretty good reason. You can't just quit a job and not work because you didn't want to quit a job. In regards to that, you can still get away from it, but you want to have as much consistently. You want to look like a strong buyer. What the lenders look for is stability. If you have stability in your income, if you have stability with your work, it makes you a much more credible buyer. So again, time frames, 2 years, 2 years taxes, 1099, bank statements, 30-day pay stubs, ID and social. And then the other incomes you guys can use here, just refer back to them if you guys want to. Pause it, refer back, comment below if maybe I missed one and you have a question about that different income, who knows. Dividend paying stocks as well is counted, but totally different thing there for you guys. We're gonna wrap this up, but before I get to the bottom of this, talking about credit, This is very important. This is the second part that I think is, if not the most important, second most important thing in the entire process is knowing who your team is. Because when you go to purchase a home, you're working with a team. You have a lender, you have a realtor, and you have other people that come a part of this process. So at the beginning stages, you do have your lender and your realtor. In this case, I would be the realtor. My name is Rodrigo Castellanos. Pleasure to meet you. And we have a bunch of lenders that we work with, different teams in different locations. But with the part of the process that continues, very important that you guys are aware that it's a lot of people that get involved in this kind of work, in this line of transactions. You're gonna get the people selling you the home. You're gonna get your inspectors, people that inspect the home, termite inspectors that do the termite for your potential purchase. You're gonna get escrow and title. This is a third-party company. They handle the transaction. So there's a lot of hands and a lot of people and a lot of fingers touching your deal, touching the home that you're not physically touching, but touching the transaction in the sense of making it continue to move so we can close the deal. Lastly is gonna be credit specialist. The credit specialist is super important for people who are in buyer consultation stages, the initial purchasing stages or getting pre-qualified stages, because if you don't have the required credit, these guys right here is what's gonna get us there. They're the ones that are gonna create a plan, 1 to 3 to 6 month plan, and they're gonna let us know, okay, this is what you need to get to this score. And based on that, we can get you a better program, guys. So very important that we look at these people and we wrap it back down into the credit report. Credit scores is super important. Minimum, I recommend 660, guys, okay? So if you guys have any questions, if I jumped around a little bit too much, let me know. To do a quick overview before we wrap it up, it's very important. Again, 2 years taxes, 2 months bank statements, 30-day pay stubs, your ID and your social, and you also need your credit report. And what did I miss? I think that's it. ID, social, credit, and income. Cool? If you guys have any questions, comment below, share this video. Let me know if there's anything that I could do to support you guys. I know it's a little bit of a lengthy video, but we're getting information out to you guys, content out to you guys. Share, like, subscribe. Love you guys, man. Peace.